Well, thanks for continuing to watch this episode of Answering the Call. Our next story comes from Guatemala. We're visiting the Prince of Peace Home for Girls, and with me is Greg Snyder, part of the leadership team. Greg, thank you so much for allowing Annette and I to come visit you guys here in Guatemala.
It's great to have you, great to host you in this beautiful place in Guatemala City, Prince of Peace Home for Girls.
Amen. Well, tell our viewers, there's some history here. Tell our viewers a little bit about the story and how God launched Prince of Peace Homes for Girls.
It's an amazing story. The home's been here for over 30 years. A beautiful couple in Maryland, Al and Marie Sanchez, felt the call of God to come to Guatemala. And after prayer and the support of their church, they packed a van and trailer and drove down to what was to be Antigua, Guatemala. Tragically, they had a car accident. As they approached Antigua, Al's wife was killed. So Al went back to the U.S. and to recover and ask God, how did this happen? Why did this happen?
Yeah.
The voice of God to Al was, I want you to go to Guatemala. So he was obedient after a couple of months, had the support of his church, friends, came back to Guatemala, to Antigua, and a lady, Cindy Miller, also felt the call a few months later, and together they formed what is now Prince of Peace Home for Girls.
Yeah, I spoke with Cindy Miller. I think she's 87 now, sharp as a tack, and that's what led to our conversation together. And tell our viewers, I mean, what's the vision? What's the mission? What's the heartbeat of this ministry?
The heartbeat of this ministry is to partner with God and organizations, both governmental and churches, people like IJM, International Justice Missions, and help bring a safe haven and a place of recovery for little girls that have been in really hard places.
Yeah.
And our mission is to give them a safe haven, educate them, and of course, introduce them to the saving grace of Jesus Christ.
Prince of Peace. So yeah, talk a little bit about the setting here. You have house moms and the age ranges of the young girls.
We generally have girls between 3 and 18. 18, they're able to opt out and leave the home, hopefully with skill sets that we've helped bring them here. The girls in the younger age live in casas, where the house mother, or in Spanish it's called a tia.
Yeah.
They are a mother of 20 girls, can you imagine that?
Wow.
And then as they get a little older, more mature, we bring them to a secondary casa here on campus called Independent Living, where we start to give them some life skills. A little budget, work to do, in some cases as they get older and older, a job outside of the campus here.
Amen. So the show is all about evangelism and discipleship, and they kind of go hand in hand. Talk about that. How are they learning about the Lord? And I'm sure that's a process as well.
Yeah, well, we have a number of things here that help us with that. One is we have a staff that absolutely pours into the girls here in Guatemala, and they show the love of Jesus each and every day to these girls. We actually marry that with 2 Christian full-time psychologists that help rebuild the confidence of the girls and tell them about the love of Jesus and how Jesus has helped bring them here. And then we have an awesome staff, co-directors, and then we have partnership churches. We have a church that meets right here on campus. We have other churches that pour into these girls through programs, through mentoring programs, through small groups, both for the tias and the girls. So we have it's a whole team, it's a whole family that God has brought here in just a beautiful way.
Amen. Well, stay tuned. We're going to get some more interviews from some of the folks that are partnered with Prince of Peace Home for Girls, and hopefully you can see your part as well. Keep watching.
The heartbeat of Prince of Peace Home for Girls is, first of all, to provide them safety and an understanding of who God is and what love, true love, really means.
These girls need to see it first before they can hear it. Because if they're not seeing it, they're not going to understand what you're actually saying. They're not going to understand that they have a loving Father, because that's not been their personal life experience.
I came to Prince of Peace when I was 11 years old. I came to know God at Prince of Peace. I lived in Prince of Peace Home for Girls for 6 years, and I believe that God had a plan for my life. Here I learned His love, first of all, and through the home in God, He healed many wounds that I had. Well, I learned about the home in 2003 because I arrived as one of the girls here, and I was here for 10 years as a girl. It was a blessing for me. Right now, I'm a teacher for the girls, and I like very much to teach them in my role here, and especially it's great because I understand where they're coming from.
The heartbeat of Prince of Peace is the 50-some girls that we have running around our property at any given point in time. Their love, their hope, specifically, that there is a better life out there for them. They don't always know where it is. They don't always know what it looks like. But there is a hope here and a presence, a calmness about this property that makes them feel very safe and secure.
We want to love them. We want to give many of them the childhood that unfortunately they never had before coming here. We want them to be able to play, to fall into bed tired at night in a safe place where they're not worried anything's going to happen to them. We want to provide them an education. We want to make sure they get plenty of psychological care and therapy for all the traumas that they've gone through and continue to go through sometimes.
They don't think that you are important, but the people that God put here, they teach you that somebody from the heaven that really loves you. Doesn't matter the way or where you came from, He loves you. And no matter if you have a lot of money or big house, or they love you just the way you are. And that's one of the things that I'm really thankful right now, because I know Jesus, and here I know Him.